Hi, this is Ken Brownlee with the Brownlee Group, Keller Williams, and I have the pleasure of talking with Jennifer Martinez. She's with Cross Country Mortgage. Thank you, Jennifer, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, this is a tough topic that we're going to talk about. It's the market and what's happening and when is it going to crash. So if you stay tuned, but if you like this, follow us on Facebook and also follow us on YouTube, Brownlee Group. Looking forward to hit the links below and take a look. So I've got to ask you, the market's going crazy. I assume you're a little busy.
A little bit. Okay. A little insane.
All right, and anything that goes up is going to come down.
Yeah.
When do you think the market's going to crash and how and what do you look for?
Yeah, so I think that we've got a pretty stable market right now as far as, we're not going to see any kind of decline or any kind of change here for at least the next 18 to 24 months. We haven't built enough homes to be able to sustain the amount of millennials that are coming into the market. So the housing market's really not going to shift as far as this crash per se. That's the number one question that I'm asked every day is, when's the market going to crash? I'm like, what? There's 30 and 40 offers still coming in on houses. We've kind of slimmered that down to, it's not like 12 to 18. I'm sure that, you guys are super listing heavy. So.
If an agent that does a lot of deals can feel it, that it, instead of going under contract in 6 hours, it's now 2 days.
Right. Yeah. So a friend of mine, I had a client that was pre-approved. She's like, this house has been on the market for 5 days. I'm like, is it going to burn to the ground soon?
Right. Yeah, because 4 months ago it was going in 2 minutes.
2 minutes,
yeah.
2 minutes, absolutely. So, my prediction around that is, again, we're in a pretty stable market due to the fact that, we don't have enough inventory. So Harvard came out with a study 2 years ago, and that study said that we were going to be in this crisis here in 2 years. We did not have enough permits pulled at that point in time to be able to keep up with the supply of millennials that were going to be coming into the new market, right? So you have to build houses in preparation for those people coming into the market. And so every year they put their finger on the pulse, and 2 years ago they said, we're raising our hand and screaming and saying we do not have enough houses. Well, we just really started to feel that crunch, 4 or 5 months ago, we started to feel that. And now some of those people just kind of took their foot off, and I spoke with probably 20 people yesterday that said, you know what, I just elected to say I'm going to rent. Right? Those people still have to come back around. So next year, when they're done renting, they're going to come back around and want to buy. So those people that are normally going to come into the market again, that are coming out of college, wanting to buy, I'm ready. Those people are still coming into the market, and then we still have those other people that couldn't find a house this year that are going to be in that same predicament, dilemma next year of wanting to buy with all those same people, right?
Okay. Well, like in 2006, we had a major crash.
Yep.
It was spiking. It was busy. Everybody was buying. If you fogged a mirror, you got 2 loans, maybe even 3.
Yeah.
Okay, but why is it not going to crash in this market? Because there are other things. I know Harvard, you said, but now Harvard did a national, I assume.
National, yeah.
And each town, each city, each state's got a little bit of a different curve. Like us, we have Tampa Bay sports that every team has done fantastic. So I know people are going to move here, right? But we have Disney that's down the street, as opposed to New Jersey. People are leaving, 2 to 1.
Yeah. So great statistics around that. One, as far as buying power, right? Two different things. One, people are putting a lot more money down on their houses today than they were in 06, right? So you're going to see an appraisal that comes in low, 20, 40, 60. I've seen people put as much as $80,000. Are you going to walk away from that? Back in 06, I can qualify somebody, just like you said, you fogged a mirror, you got a loan, right?
Yeah.
So there's that one data point, which is that they are putting more money down. Are you going to throw $150,000 into a house and then let it get foreclosed on? Probably not, right? If you put $0 down, the likelihood is much greater than it would be. So that's one. Point 2 is that it kind of goes, 2 and 3 kind of go hand in hand with one another, which is the loose lending, which we just spoke about. But a majority of those people that were buying back at that time were second homes and investment homes. So twice this year they have changed that guideline where they've tightened it up. Now each lending institution can only have 7% of their portfolio. So
that's with all lenders?
Every lender
7%?
across the 7%
okay.
of your total portfolio can be second home and investment. What does that mean? You're either buying cash or you are very intentionally knowing that those rates are going to be, you know, I spoke with a client today, I did a loan for a couple months ago, actually I think in November, you know, prior to this change, and it was like 3.625, I just quoted him 4.25, and he's like, thought rates had gone down a little bit. And I was like, it has, except in the arena that you're dancing in, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to be buying a second home or an investment property, one, you're either paying cash or you're paying a higher interest rate, so you know, and you're putting higher down payments. You can still do as low as 20% down on an investment property, but the difference between a 20 and a 25% is so much greater. Again, you're putting so much cash out on this property. Are you going to let that thing get foreclosed on?
Okay. Which now I can tell you, 10 years ago, I was about little in the low 30s% that were buying cash. What's the number now? Higher or lower?
Last month we had 43% cash buyers.
Wow.
Year over year. So June of 2020 versus June of 2021, and this is NAR, national. 43% bought cash. It's insane.
It is.
Right?
That's huge.
So much cash. We saw massive double-digit appreciation last year coming in, which is why the question keeps being asked, because when we saw these double-digit appreciations, which is when we saw that crash took place, 05, 06, 07, we saw double-digit appreciation, 08, market falls out, right?
Right.
So we're seeing that trend again. They're like, oh, well, in 2020 we saw these double-digit appreciations. 2021 we're already seeing those double-digit appreciations. Does this mean that we're falling off the cliff? My opinion is no. There's so much cash coming in that the guidelines are so tight on these lending that I don't feel like we're going to have that same crash that we had before.
Now, when you came in here, you didn't bring a crystal ball, but I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
I'll
dust it off.
Where's the money coming from? Is it from a house that they sold? Or is it they're pulling money out of a 401 because to buy a second home they have to pay cash? Or where do you know where that might be coming from?
Yeah, so at least in my world, there's two main things that the cash is coming from. Is people did very well in the market last year if they put money into it, and so they're seeing that they're able to pull off those returns that way. And the other huge one is money from the sale of their house, right?
Okay.
So we're selling 2-to-1 in Jersey, right? Cash. It's just like they're walking up into the backyard and pulling off the money off the tree. It's just the money is just coming in. Even in the Tampa Bay area, we saw such huge appreciation. Everybody wants to be here. Like you said, we're Tampa Bay. Everybody wants to be into Tampa, and we saw these huge appreciations, and people are cashing that out. I mean, people do have to move up at some point in time, and they're having kids, and those first-time home buyers that we just did 2 and 3 and 4 years ago. Now they're like, hey, I had another kid, I got to move up. I've got all this equity in my house, I might as well do that. So that's really what we're seeing is mainly coming out of their house, other than pulling it out of like stocks and 401ks.
Now, you're born and raised here.
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah.
So I'm accustomed to the prices of houses and the land and the taxes. Some of these folks that are coming from other states, and we go, oh my gosh, the taxes or the insurance is going to be high because this is so-and-so.
Yeah.
And they go, that's all?
Yeah, exactly.
They're paying a lot more somewhere else.
Dirt cheap in comparison to everywhere else. Even though we just saw this 40% increase in the Tampa Bay area for insurance, still way more affordable. Yeah. Than you're seeing it. And last time I checked, we have 3 sides of water around our state, and we're still dirt cheap. Every time we joke about it, that these hurricanes are, a hurricane comes and Floridians, we're not moving, we're not going anywhere. It's going by. We're fine.
We're good.
We're good. All I just heard is we got a hurricane day, and it's party day. So.
And you hope every year will they name one after me?
Yeah, that's it.
I never made the list yet.
I haven't made it. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting.
We're going to get there.
We're getting there. Is next year our year?
I hope, because they're going to run out of names at some point.
At some point in time. They got to go through the vanilla ones, right? The Jennifer and the Ken. I feel like it's going to happen.
I think it'd be perfect. All right. Well, so now you went back to it's not going to crash. Now, just for us, we understand inventory, if it's less than 5 months, 4 or 5 months, is considered a seller's market. Anything between 4 and 6 or 4 and 7 is a neutral territory. When there's more than 7 months of inventory, it's a buyer's market. Now, we're running literally like a month and a half of homes.
Max.
So we literally have to, whatever we have today, it has to grow by 5 to 6 times before it even becomes a buyer's market. So either something has to drastically change, or it's not going to crash anytime soon.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
you mentioned that. So,
yeah, I mean, there's housing prices are going up. In 06. So a couple things I want to touch on there is the housing prices in 06 were right around 250,000, right?
Right.
Today is like 375. So let's just talk about sheer stats here, right? So 251,000 was 06. The median income was 48,000. The average payment at that point in time, because the average interest rate was 6.7. I think everybody forgets that, is that it was 6.7 back in '06. Because if it doesn't start with a 2 now, people are frustrated. But it was 6.7, and the average payment at that point in time was $1,298. So we're going to call it $1,300, right?
Right.
So today, even if you do a conservative $375, and we'll just say that's 5% down, right? Even 5% down, and I'll use today's rate is 2.9 or 3%. Let's just add a quarter to that, make it 3.25. The median income is 79,000, almost 80,000 today. So it's going to put your average payment at like 1,850. So to put those statistics in line, 2006, our average spending was 31%, and today it's 27%. So the Federal Housing Association says that if your payment is greater than 28%, you are house poor at that point in time. So in '06, we were house poor at 31%. Today, we still got some margin at 27% to have that increase. And again, that's using a 5% down.
Do you know what and on the spot, do you know what it was 2 years ago? What their debt ratio was with the house?
No.
Okay. Well, I just know that it's climbing a little bit, not by much. We're still way below what it was.
Yep.
And people aren't house poor, which is fantastic, which means in my opinion, it still has a room to grow.
I think so,
price.
and that's why I said is that I don't think it's going to be a crash just due to the fact that we've got some room to move.
Sure.
Right. Another stat that comes behind that is if you look at May of '05 versus May of '06. So you brought up something that was huge there. Is we have less than 1 month of inventory. Unless something drastically changes, we're not going to change. Look at the stats in May of '06 nationally. And I pulled this actually for Hillsborough County. So we had 7,700 houses on the market in May of '05. In May of '06, we had over 40,000 houses on the market. I don't know about you, but I don't think they're going to dump that many houses onto the market, which is where we started to see that shift take place. So you've got to have infiltration of just a volume coming onto the market, which we're not going to see. I don't think that, again, last year we had trillions and trillions of dollars in refinances, so people would have to say, yes, I want to give up my 2% interest rate and walk away and put their house back in the market. I think that's another reason why we're not going to see a housing crisis, because the payments are affordable. People know that their payment is affordable because vast majority of Americans did refinance.
And they put 80 or so thousand down, and they're not
Absolutely.
walking away from that.
They're not walking away. They're just not.
If the market tanked, I mean, if just they're not going to walk away from that house. They've got way too much money. They'll rent it. They'll do something, or they'll just stay in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not going, in my opinion. But
I agree with you 110% there.
back in 2006, they did walk because they only had 3%, or they had 100% finance.
Yeah.
And they would walk so fast.
So things that people forget is back in '06, if you had a 740 and above, I had to verify nothing. Just that you had a pulse. I mean, like you said, fog and mirror. I mean, literally, we had to verify absolutely nothing. Income, assets. Today, you've got to go through, the whole rigmarole. Where's your assets coming from? That's the first thing that I ask people. And then the second thing is I think that people are getting really in line. The first question that I ask clients when I get on the phone with the pre-approval is, where do you want your payment to be? Not what can I qualify you for? And I think that changes that conversation a lot, is where do you want your payment to be? Not, what can I buy? Well, I can buy $700,000. Okay, cool. Here's what that payment looks like at $700,000. Do you want to pay that? Absolutely not, right?
Yeah.
So if you're having those conversations, and I think that people are realizing that it boils down to what is your monthly payment, and people can afford that, which is why I think that we're staying under that 28%, because people don't want to. A lot of those people went through what they went through in '08, and even if they made it through, like I had multiple houses, all of my homes made it through. We don't want to go through that pain again, right? Pain versus pleasure. What are you going towards?
Learn.
Yeah, you learn, right? It teaches you.
It does.
Yeah.
No, I was just amazed how the whole market was back then. And at the time, we had 24 months of inventory and some price points.
Yeah.
In 24, I would tell the seller, listen, when this person comes in, this will probably be the last one you see for about 6 months, because they had so many homes to choose from.
Yeah.
Today, they're looking at 3 to 5, and they're either jumping or they're not. All right, so I have another question to ask for you.
Yeah.
As a listing person or somebody that's working with listings, and I'm looking at 12 different offers or 20, You as a lender, what would you recommend you tell your buyer, your customer, what should they do to win the offer?
Yeah, so something that I've done over this is my 21st year in the business. I always make sure that client provides all the documentation. So that's something that is becoming more of the norm, right? Before it was just, yes,
Quick
letter, we're done, move on. You've got another one coming in. It might stick, it might not, but hey, we're willing to take the chance, right?
Right.
As in, now you've got 12 offers sitting here. Which one of these things is going to come to fruition? So when I do my pre-approvals with my clients, I say, hey, listen, I'm going to make you, this is something I would always make you do, but this is going to be a requirement now. So when the listing agent calls me, the first thing that they're going to have a conversation with me about is, have you verified their income? What have you verified? And they're knowledgeable. If they've been in the business for any length of time, if there's somebody like a Ken Brownlee and they know what they're doing, it's like, hey, have you looked at the pay stubs? Have you looked at their bank statements? Have you looked at their tax returns? Do you know where their money's coming from? Those are the big blind spots is, where's the money coming from,
Sure.
right? So I'm making sure to ask all those questions. Some people are just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put $100,000 down. Fantastic. Where is that coming from? Oh, well, my cousin's uncle's brother's sister's gonna give that to me. Nope, we're gonna fix that.
Under
right?
my mattress.
Yeah, under my mattress. I've got this money. I literally just had that conversation twice this weekend. I've got cash at the house, right? So those are just, it's not anything that's wrong. You and I do this every single day. I also don't build pools, so I'm not going to go tell somebody how to build a pool, right? They think that that's okay. That's why they have professionals like us to have those conversations of, well, I have the cash at the house. I thought I was going to do that. Now, a couple of years ago when you had one client come in and the next one, you better make them cookies and a bottle of wine and make sure that they love that house before they walk out the door, because you're not going to see another one for 6 months.
Right.
It's way different than we have today, right? We've got to make sure that they're solid, they know what they're doing. And that's something that I've consistently done for my term here, for my entire career for 21 years. I've made people do that. And now when an agent like you don't even call me anymore. You see a pre-approval, my name on it, they're like, oh, Jen's already verified that, right?
If you have them and you touched it, it's done.
It's done. It's
Right.
done. And I've just always done that. So now it's more of the norm. So as a client, you need to make sure that you're prepared to go through those extra steps. Even if you're those solid buyers, I love talking to those clients that are like, and you're our favorite. I promise, I'll tell you. Got an 800 credit score. I got money in the bank. I got a W-2. I'm super solid. Don't need to worry about it. I just need a pre-approval letter. Fantastic. I love you. I promise you I do. I still need the same things I need from any other client to make sure your offer gets accepted.
In the past, I think people rob from Peter to pay Paul and vice versa. So the day before closing, they'd go borrow 20 grand off their credit card. Now their debt ratio gets changed.
Right.
And I think the banks caught on, or they just tried to fix the problem. So now they want to see the paper trail.
Absolutely. So depending on what loan that you're doing, conventional, FHA, VA, that changes a little bit, but you're always going to have some kind of verification. Even the least stringent one, which is conventional, I still have to see that the money's coming from dad's account. And it's like dad's account ending in 1234 from his credit union. You sign a gift letter that says, my dad, whose name's X, has this bank account with whatever credit union, and they're going to do 1234. I'm going to wire it. We wire it to that dollar amount. It can't be, it's 96,721,000. My dad wired 100 grand. I need 96,000. Whatever's on there is what it needs to be. It needs to come from dad's account. So, and there's always a monitoring system in the background. So the minute that every institution has this, by the way, is the minute you pull the trigger on any kind of debt and have an inquiry on there, we get it immediate. It's not like it's a day later, it's immediate. We're notified that says, John Smith just went out there and opened a, God bless it, TJ Maxx, right? I wanted that, coin that $10, whatever it is, or it's just the silliest things. And I was out there and I was at TJ Maxx and they offered me, 10% off on, I was buying all the kids' school clothes and, at Target or wherever it is, right? And I was going to get X amount of dollars off, and it's harmless. Like I plan on paying that off in just a short period of time. Well, we have that monitoring system that's in the background to make sure they're not doing that. And some of them, the FHA and VA, we have to actually look at that person's bank account to verify that you didn't go take a loan out or you didn't put cash in there. But some, like I said, the less stringent ones are just verifying that it came from that person's account.
Well, I may be wrong, but COVID made a change because people were losing their jobs. So you verified income, verified employment, want to know where the money came from, not their Guido from their uncle that they didn't know they had.
Yeah.
So I get that. So perfect. Now, last question. How can they reach you? I know you're 813-480-4747.
Love it. Love it.
Okay.
Yep. That's my cell phone. Yeah, always. You can always text me. My cell phone's literally sitting on this desk because you can reach me,
Is there another number,
I mean, either Jen at Jen Martinez, Jen at Jen Martinez is my email, and then my website's jenmartinez.com. You can find us on Facebook at Jen Martinez Mortgage.
And billboards.
And billboards.
Don't forget the billboards.
Don't forget to wave at me. I do like it when you wave at me on that.
Okay.
Makes
and she's homegrown, so this is another plus that knows the neighborhood.
Yes.
Please reach out to her. She's very informative, has a lot of information that will help you out. And the neat thing is because she's very experienced, when you get the letter for pre-approval, you know you're good to go. Just follow the steps. She'll get you to the finish line. Thank you again for being here. I appreciate it so much.
Thanks. It's a privilege and an honor to sit with one of the top realtors in the county that does a fantastic job. So thanks for having me on today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so
Thanks.
much. Again, like us on Facebook, follow us, and please give us a call anytime you have questions about your home, updating, if you want to see what you can do to increase the value. Thanks.
Thank you.